Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. We are going the distance here with 6 games on the day. I was expecting today to be our shortest day. However, it has turned out to be anything but that. And I'm glad you're hanging in there, LS. I know last game wasn't exactly the greatest. It is going to be Cuvée picking up the player of the game on his Kayle. I mean, he was fine. He played Kayle. But I actually feel like this game was more lost by Gen.G than it was won by Hanwha. It's sort of how I'm feeling at the end of it.
I would agree with you in that regard. And I mean, honestly, just let the Jarvan engages speak for themselves. And Clit is normally such a fantastic player that is usually so on point in his gameplay, and that's why it's so uncharacteristic to have seen it here. And then in regards to the Kayle pick, I mean, I think you put it best. He played Kayle. He did cast his ultimate and make allies and or himself invulnerable at certain points. I'm curious to see the spread of the votes.
Well, we're the only ones that voted for Lehens. All of the Korean commentators, they voted for Cuvée. But Jonah Strong was on the Lava train, and actually wouldn't have minded Lava picking that one up. But that's absolutely fine. I think that Lehens was pivotal. I think he denied almost every kind of engage that came through. But yeah, I don't know about the Kayle pick. I think the Kayle was the champion of the game. Does that make sense? Like, she was the entire composition of Hanwha Life in the late game.
Yeah,
so
in
you
the
can
later
understand
stages
why.
of the fight, obviously the Kayle ultimates are really, really big. And even in the mid-game, mitigating a lot of the things that Gen.G could try to seek out was the Kayle ultimate. Gen.G did misplay some of the early fights incorrectly, too, by trying to go into Hanwha Life rather than creating the invert via the Zoe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see what happens this time around. Gen.G are back on the red side now.
And now they're going to ban Aphelios, most likely, and we'll see what Hanwha do with their first pick. Aphelios is going to be banned, so LeBlanc available if Lava wants to take that one for himself. In theory, that could work out, as Jarvan also could be taken away. Haru does very much like the Jarvan, but so far it feels like Jarvan is not necessarily a winning pick, as Varus also still available. Was a bit of a passenger in game number 2. But still looking like what Vista wants to head towards, and he is going to lock that one away. So looking down the 80 carry tier list, definitely the Varus does make some sense. As Gen.G, we're doing a salty run back, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to have the Varus B1 responded to by R1MF. You ready for the R2 Jarvan?
Yeah, I am. As Hanwha Life might mix it up and lock in the on for themselves. We'll see whether they do that or whether they're happy just to lock away a Kayle afterwards. It might just be banned in the second round, though, so maybe don't roll the dice on that one. Oh, no. It's going to be Olaf Yumi, right?
Perfect.
What do you think? Because, oh, okay. No.
Well, Hanwha
Are
Life.
you thinking about a piggy?
Yep.
Okay.
Trying
this is
to
better
go
than the Olaf, at least.
a bit more on the scaling route. And so Sejuani and Taric are picked up by Hanwha Life, and now Gen.G, all that they need to do is acknowledge the hard-on engage by Hanwha Life. They need to try to dial back to disengagey kind of champion, stay away from things like Aatrox, stay away from things like Renekton, things of that nature. Ornn is fine.
Yep.
Ornn is fine.
And now they can ban Sylas and Kayle, and it should be A-OK here for Gen.G. Or they can focus the Kayle early and play around it that way. She can be put behind and therefore feels like she does absolutely nothing, but Gen.G would need to play a more speedy style of League of Legends, and they have demonstrated that they don't play that, and so instead they're going to ban away the Kayle. And Hanwha Life, we'll see where they're going to target. I would assume BDD's champion pool, but if they do that, then they're also taking away from Lava, so it might be supports that are going to get hit. We'll just have to see.
Could be supports, especially because Korea has the tendency to R4 support.
Yep.
And then R5 looking for a counterpick. But, I mean, as it currently does stand, Azir is basically all that you would need against this Hanwha Live team composition, and even if Lava ends up picking up the Zoe, you don't really care all that much. So there's a lot of value to be gained by going R4 Azir and then counterpicking a support that perfectly answers Hanwha Live's team composition. Alternatively, given that Hanwha Live's bot lane is face up, they could go for a mage or an enchanter on R4 and then still reserve the counterpick for BDD.
It'll be Nautilus. I'm sorry. Ooh, Braum.
You can't make this up. You just
Mixing it up.
We really just can't make this up, Atlas.
We've turned a corner. We have absolutely turned a corner. This isn't Nautilus. It's beautiful. Still 4 seconds to go. We'll see whether it is going to be Braum. Bard would be way better. Fantastic. There we go.
Also, Atlas, I am lost sight. Azir was banned first by Hanwha Live.
Yeah, I was going to say something about it, but then I thought
right.
that, you know, we'd figure it out in the end.
Yeah,
that's totally
I would
fine.
eventually get around to it.
I'm not going to place you under a bus or anything like that. No.
Lost Seer. You know, it's not.
Lost
I was
Seer.
living in the future. Gangplank is interesting.
And would be a good pickup into the Ornn. Don't necessarily know where the Ornn is going just yet. BDD could be playing it in theory. As now Hanwha Life will need to round out their composition. The LeBlanc does make some sense, as Lava did have a great game on it last time around. And now Gen.G thinking about what they're going to play in the mid lane. And I think Carson does make a lot of sense. I'm copying how you say it now.
Are you? Do you like it?
Yeah.
It feels better, right?
Carson?
Carson.
Carson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to get him.
Yeah, we're getting
You and me united.
Versus the collective.
Yes.
So it's you and me versus like 20-odd thousand people.
Yes.
30-odd thousand people.
Yep.
I don't know whether we win that, but look, we'll see. BDD going to be picking up the Sylas here. As I was thinking maybe that would actually be picked up in the position of the Bard. However, with the bottom lane being face up like you were talking about, you may as well pick up the Bard and then just make sure that you are going to be playing the Sylas into something that you want. Stealing away Cannon Barrage is like massive value, as well as the Glacial Prison. There are a lot of hijack targets that are actually very, very high value here for BDD. Even Cosmic Radiance can be utilized really, really nicely against Hanwha Life. So look for BDD to be able to really get experimental with his R button on the Sylas, especially after he hits that level 16 mark, which you might be saying, well, he may not get to level 16, Atlas, because of course this game could be over by 25 minutes, but you'd be wrong. Because this is Gen.G versus Hanwha Life. This is slow-mo League of Legends at its finest.
Well, Gangplank, Sejuani, LeBlanc, Avaris, and Taric. There's going to be the team composition. There is enormous amounts of scaling on this team comp. There is also Wave Clear with the Gangplank.
Yep.
And they are on blue side, so even if they do fall behind, it's not the end of the world. It's generally a lot easier for blue side to turtle against Barons. However, on the flip side, Gen.G, the Sylas in a vacuum against the LeBlanc is at a disadvantage, but like you did point out, there's a lot of very key ultimates that can be stolen away. And in regard to maybe why they didn't end up going for the Kassadin, is there's already lots of magic damage on their team comp. So if the enemy does start purchasing magic resistance, Kassadin can have a much harder time at coming online in basically every single stage of the game, and perhaps they just feel like Sylas would handle everything a lot better.
And does also provide more peel and utility for Ruler in that instance as well. So you're right, is going to hold on to a little bit more relevance if that magic resist starts getting stacked. Probably not going to be happening so much, as Ruler is often the backbone of Gen.G, but we'll just have to see. That is only one little AD carry that might be just taken out at the beginning of a team fight by Lava. But I'm looking forward to seeing what this Omni-Stone Bard is going to get done this game. As life certainly takes you into some weird places, you know?
Yeah.
He's phase Russian at the moment. I like it.
All right, well, we'll see what he manages to do here on the Bard. And has the stopwatch available as well.
Yep, can dematerialize some minions, which is also some good times. And he's just looking to collect meeps and slap some people. As you saw that Wadid wasn't actually on the Korean broadcast. Of course, he was the OTP Bard player. And always fun when it gets picked up with Wadid on the broadcast, but not going to be here this time around. As Already, bit of fighting. Cosmic Binding going to go wide. We've got Cosmic Binding versus Cosmic Radiance. Whose cosmicness is going to be more strong in this game is something that we're also going to find out. As so far, Lehen's actually playing this one out quite nicely, but another Binding does come in to even out the trade.
And meanwhile, up in top lane, you have Sapphire Crystal first against the Ornn. On the GP, we're not going to have any sort of cheater recalls. And Clid, you know what? I don't even mind it at this point. Just do it. Just do it to me.
I mean, if he's planning on Leroying, you may as well do it from level 2 as the flash just goes completely wide. Clid is going to find another flag and drag, though. Gets a knock-up, flash forward. Clid's going to lock down the kill. And look, it didn't look great, but it did manage to figure itself out in the end.
I don't know what you're talking about, Atlas. That was entirely planned. That was a zoning
it was beautiful.
Queue.
Yeah.
They basically what Life did right there is he utilized the Bard queue right there in order to break the sound barrier and penetrate the eardrums of his opponent.
Sonic boom. He was just going for the sonic boom.
Correct. And
you know in Pokemon that only does 20 flat damage? Not a great move. I don't know why he skilled sonic boom.
Totally fine. So he managed to rupture the eardrums of the opposing champions, and that actually caused them to react poorly to the situation, thus allowing Gen.G to still capitalize on it. So take it away.
Wow. This is sometimes I don't really understand how good you are as an analyst. You know, like sometimes I fail to comprehend it like enough, you know? And now I've really got some added appreciation. It's really beautiful. Speaking of which, the Rift Scuttler going down to 1 health and then dying to the burn damage was also pretty cathartic. As we see Sejuani able to stay ahead by a little bit as far as the farm is concerned up against this Jarvan. But we'll see whether Haru can scale his way towards that level 6 effectively. Already, we've seen that BDD and Lava have been trading. But Lava went for that cheater recall, gets himself his Dark Seal, as well as some booties. And so he's back to lane feeling pretty damn good. BDD, I think, might just teleport back to this lane, as he's also got himself an extra item, but not the boots. He managed to way forward the another ring as Ruler down to about 200 as BDD's going to come in. Oh my goodness, this bottom lane is getting so much attention, and it is going to be Vista once again falling down.
Yeah, and it looks like they're really just trying to focus on what they perceive to be the weak link going on in this series, because Vista has lost lane pretty heavily, and then even last game he was really floundering about, if you do remember, which was really letting Gen.G start to pull things more and more into their control. So the Sejuani is on the top side of the map right now, not going to be able to achieve anything. Clid coming in, and he is sinning right now. He has 4 jungle camps underneath his belt. Going to move back over, start to take the Raptor camp, and it all started up right here. Now pay attention to the sonic boom. So the flash right there, Varus' eardrums ruptured, and much like a Pokemon when you don't have enough badges, Varus didn't listen to the flash.
Yeah, true.
Previously, got hit by the Jarvan, and you know that's why they pay him $3.
Damn, dude.
Atlas, yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even realize that they didn't have enough badges. Like, that part of it I needed explaining again, as BDD is going to be fighting Lava, gets electrocuted, but is otherwise going to be okay, which is a weird thing to say, because I think electrocution means death by electricity. If is just getting a shock, then it's called an electric shock.
Can't you be electrocuted and live?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, electrocution is death by electric shock. Much like execution, you know?
I am actually fact-checking you right now.
Oh, you can go for it. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I remember an English teacher telling me about it when I was in high school, so it's a very long time ago, but it stuck with me.
Injure or kill someone by electric shock.
Then what's an electric shock? What? Injure or kill?
Injure or kill.
I think that might be a deviation of the language.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
They don't call me Linguist Supreme for nothing.
Oh,
so
that's true. Damn.
I got you covered right there. I have your back. You won't make that mistake ever again. Clid is... Okay, well, he has honey fruit.
But BDD does have a hijacked, mimicked something. We'll see what that's going to be. His distortion is going to be utilized. He immediately gets exhausted, pops back to his original mimic there. As now Lava does Just use his clone to try and get some information. Cosmic Binding lands that time as Lahen's getting taken down relatively low, and he will fall. But the Cloud Drake was taken by Hanwha Life, so worth.
Well, in the end, I mean, Cloud Dragon isn't super big for Hanwha Life outside of the Gangplank. The Gangplank having his ultimate up a little bit more often, maybe they can make use of it, but given the way that the bot lane is going, probably not going to be actively looking to pursue it immediately off cooldown. All the jungle camps are now up. Clid, starting out the Cloud Dragon was honestly a bit bizarre, but BDD having priority, having a lot more value in the game as it currently stands, just more stats as well, as this team fight did end up breaking out. Life goes back over, takes the blasting plant, finally manages to land the snare up onto Lahen. He goes down after that, and this fight ends up being a really big loss for Hanwha Life, because not only do they lose one of their bot laners again, they lose out on EXP, they drag multiple members over, it stunts everything that's really going on. Gangplank ultimate was used, and it seems like the Observer...
I think that was used while we were in the replay. Some ults were traded by our top laners. I think Rascal got the better of it, and he's now going to go back to base and purchase some items, grab some more consumables, and head back towards the top side of the map. QV going straight towards the Trinity Force as per usual. As Clid, he's going to get chained up just a little bit. Mimic chains do come in as well, as there's the flash. Gets the stopwatch out of Clid.
Clid electing to use the stopwatch instead of his flash in order to get away. Almost has the Cinderhulk completed now. He's going to go and start power farming. He doesn't have an obligation to give away the blue immediately, so we should probably just do the Wolf camp into the Gromp camp, as BDD also does have some time before he has to move over. Starting up the blue right away, and I don't know if this means that he's going to pull BDD over right away, but you can see on the minimap that there's nowhere else to really be right now. There's not like a hot date that he has to get to, unless Clid's just going to eat the blue himself. He is.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So he picks that up.
Clid's going to be rather accelerated, I guess, from that one, as a couple of plates go over to the Gangplank. Not ideal, because of course you probably want them for the last remaining plates, as they do build up resistances as they get taken, as BDD's not going to find lava there. But still, no harm, no foul, and has a bit of a lead here in this lane. And now with the Merc Treads, it's going to be very comfortable. Abscond comes in and finds a Kingslayer as well onto lava, whose ultimate has still been picked up by the hijack out of BDD.
And the thing that is going on here is 2 minutes until the Infernal Dragon. Ornn is actually ahead in the CS department against
someone dying. It's all right. LS is just taking a little bit of a moment. For now, got a little bit of a sore throat at this particular point in time, but he's lasted extraordinarily well, guys. So if you could send him your energy, that would be fantastic. Haru, gonna find Clid here in the jungle. Clid's able to lock down the enemy Raptor camp, and Life is just collecting some meeps right now as BDD dives on towards lava. Not gonna find too much damage there, as trading chains not gonna be too bad here for the LeBlanc. And Clid wondering what he can do to try and affect this particular matchup.
Well,
looks like nothing is going to be the answer. Are you doing okay?
I'm doing okay. I had a bit of a coughing spell. And now I'm back. I'm good. I'm here.
Well, do you know what?
What did I
make you feel better? To make you feel better, Dumbledoge is in the chat. So shout out to Dumbledoge, the faker killer himself, best Janna in the world, and just an absolute honor to have you here. It's been a while. I missed hanging out with you, Mr. Dumbledoge. So I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Rascal versus QV up here towards the top side of the map. Nothing's really happened. Just to catch you back up again, if you did just go AFK for a moment, LS. Nothing's really happened. I mean, Rascal's taking some poke damage, but he's still ahead in farm. He's absolutely fine. There's a lot of blue wards in their own jungle, showing that Hanwha Life are a little bit frightened of what Gen.G's capable of. And our next fight's going to be in 30 seconds around this Infernal Drake.
Well,
Clid's
I
decided
feel like you just lied to me.
Yeah, we're looking for QV. Clid he's a little bit tired, doesn't want to go for any flashes, try and lock down that kill, and is instead just going to accept the QV flashed away.
Yep. End up getting the flash out of the Gangplank. They do trade the Ornn ultimate though, so this does mean that if Rascal would end up teleporting to this dragon, it's going to be a little bit less effective. And even if they ended up killing Gangplank, right there. There's the 5 turret plates remaining, but still they should be prioritizing the Infernal much higher than they are right now. So a little surprising right there. You can see the Sejuani has started it up. Clid running through mid lane. Silas going to start running over with. And Gangplank ultimate is up.
Well, Clid's going to be here very late, and they're going to lose that one. Ocean Drake once again, as there's the Tempered Fate, lands onto Vista one more time. As bullet time comes in, but the Cosmic Radiance is pretty good. BDD going down very low. Kingslayer will keep him alive for the moment as the Ignite's ticking down, but he gets himself what would be hot cocoa if the right skin was chosen. However, it's not. It's just a funny leaf. And Hanwha Life are going to back away, but they have themselves the Infernal Drake, and it's another Ocean Soul.
And so the unsettling series of events that are unfolding here is, remember, Clid was top lane, they got the flash out of Cuvée, but it was coming at a time where Infernal Dragon was coming up in 30 seconds, like you had mentioned. They traded the Ornn ultimate, and this means that Rascal can't actually teleport down for any reason. Then Clid ends up getting over to the Infernal Dragon a little bit late, unable to do anything, and now all of a sudden Hanwha Life threatening, yet again, an extremely early Ocean Soul. So, take a look at the replay. The Bard ultimate ends up coming out, and Vista flashes away. BDD tries to steal the Varus ultimate, barely manages to escape by skin of his teeth, as everything ended up becoming disengaged. As we come back into live, Gen.G are still ahead, about 1,500 gold roughly. Trinity Force finally completed for the Gangplank. But Silas, he's building the Proto Belt first item. It's going to be a while until we get ornaments, and this time around they don't have super strong ornaments on all of their champions. It's likely to be a Luden's Pulse on the Silas yet again, no ornament on the Jarvan, and then depending on how Bard builds, maybe not even an ornament for life, which is a little bit different than the previous game with the Rakan. Misfortune still will get the Molten Edge, but this game is looking a bit uncomfortable right now for Gen.G.
Yeah, we'll see whether Hanwha can utilize the momentum from game number 2 in order to move themselves into a good position here. I like what's happening so far. I've actually really enjoyed watching Lava play. He's actually been a breath of fresh air for this comp, especially after Tempt wasn't bad in game number 1 in any way. It just might be that having a fresh perspective was what Hanwha needed. As there's a Cataclysm, no flash, remember, available for Cuvée, so he should just be going down here, eats some oranges, but it's not K. I'm sorry. And he's going to go down. Tempered Fate lands onto Vista, who's just getting abused here on the bottom side. A bit early, though, in the Cosmic Binding, as there's the bullet time. Life is going to go golden, as Ruler trying to keep himself alive. But Lehens turns up, Haru going to be here as well. And now is an opportunity for Hanwha Life to snap back, but no flashes at all. In fact, the only flash that is available is on Lava, but he wasn't there in time, as Rascal is looking to smack down this top outer turret, and Clid will be taking Shirley.
And so Clid is taking Shirley right now. They'll probably use that on the mid tier 1 turret, as it's about a 2,000 gold advantage right now. Rascal doing his best to try to raise that top tier 1 turret. BDD just continuing to wave clear endlessly, as Jarvan might actually be looking to kill the Gangplank one more time, like a Daft Punk song. You see the ping going down, and Cuvée, he's playing it very safe.
Yeah, it's going to be the topside jungle that is going to go missing, though, so it's not just sinning and sticking around for a kill here. They are giving away their bottom outer turret, not too worried about that one, and instead are going to focus towards that top side, making sure the Cuvée doesn't get into a good position. 22 CS is the margin between Rascal and Cuvée. Definitely good news for the Ornn, who will be able to go back and, or just sit in lane and build himself his Abyssal Mask. Does now have it available as he's gone back home. And Cuvée, he's got some Merc Treads, but otherwise, you know, 2 items are better than 1 in general. I can do the math.
We take a look at this replay here. Remember, he does not have the flash available, so just a really easy gank setup. Coordinated there by Gen.G. 1,500 gold lead as it does currently stand. Rascal is extremely big this time around. Already has both of his ornaments. He has both of his Ornn items. They're going to be transformed into ornaments here soon. They should be the ones that are in the driver's seat for this Ocean Dragon. Gen.G needs to pick it up to prevent a Ocean Soul sort of a pincer that maybe Hanwha Life could look for.
Well, Cosmic Radiance has come down. It's a great ulti out of Cuvée, though, but the bullet time just shredding. Not good enough. It's not going to save the life of BDD as Vista goes down to the Ornhorn, but maybe, just maybe, Rascal has overstepped his bounds. And it's a bit of a disaster, to be honest. He flashes, tries to create distance with the Searing Charge, and the Cosmic Binding is at least going to stop Cuvée from running in too fast, as there goes Clid, looking to try and dive in over to the side. The chains are going to go wide, and now Hanwha Life are closing in on the Jarvan. He's looking to try and take someone with him. A lot of abilities are going to miss, as he does have flash. He flags, he drags, he gets himself a little bit further, as the flash from Clid is going to create even more distance. Cue the yakety sacks, everyone, as Lava wants to land the chain, does get it in the end, and now we're looking at Ocean Soul Point.
I have no idea what we just witnessed again in mid. This is Gen.G doing the same thing yet again as they did in game number 2. They're rushing recklessly into this. Now, pay attention. Ornn has his ult available. So the Cosmic Radiance comes out, and Ornn still hasn't cast his ult. Still hasn't cast it. Bellows Breath. Still hasn't cast it. Finally casts it. And the thing that's so bizarre here is, even if your Ornn ultimate deals no damage, you can still CC them up while they're in Cosmic Radiance so that your teammates don't have to go as far in order to continue on the damage. So, no clue what was happening there. And then everything, it was really close call being turned around. Clid could have gone north, and I'm pretty sure made it out. And obviously he had flash. There's a million of different ways that he could have played this in between the two turrets and lived without giving over his life. But he greeted for an escape while being able to save his flash and ends up being brought down. And now we have Soul Point. The gold score is almost even, and I... Take it away, Alice.
Yeah. Look, Gen.G, not in too much trouble just yet. 800 gold is going to be the lead that they still have. But if teamfights are going to continue going this way for Hanwha, I mean, once again, they do have a scaling top laner. It's not to the level that the Kayle was in game number 2, but Gangplank certainly no slouch as far as late game damage output. As Shirley going to be just plonked down in this mid lane as another Tempered Fate. This time it's going to be avoided. And Lava now in position. Shirley's going to get a charge, but now the team fight is on. Cannon Barrage going to be avoided here as Rascal gets himself towards the front line. And Lava potentially in trouble right there. Cosmic Binding is going to stun up Haru. But otherwise, not too much is going to happen. Just another wave shoved in, some lower health bars. Is now Lava just testing the waters. I like the amount of pressure he's been able to put out as the Abscond not going to find Cuvée. And BDD, he has been struggling after picking up player of the game in game number 1. Hasn't been looking like the same player moving into games 2 and 3. Still early days in this game. Just now ticking towards Baron o'clock. Is 20 minutes into this game. Now the Ornhorn comes out yet again as Vista could be in trouble, but no. Aims for the tanks instead. And Rascal going to get snared up, but not after the Searing Charge. And that's going to be A-OK for him.
2.5 minutes until the Ocean Dragon's going to come up. Clid has the opportunity, or he had the opportunity to go into Abyssal Mask this time around. Even more reason to do it in this game with the Sylas and with the Bard. But it looks like he's continuing into the Adaptive Health. So it's definitely one of those Chakrez lost to Shopkeeper moments in this game. 2 minutes until Ocean ends up coming up. I don't know how much gold Ruler is sitting on at this point in time. Banshee's Veil going to be the item for the LeBlanc. And things are... If you're a Hanwha Life fan, you have to be feeling really confident because this next Ocean Drake, Gen.G needs to take a fight about 20 or 30 seconds beforehand and then try to win it. That way, they can just get it without any sort of a 50-50. Because if it comes down to a 50-50, Hanwha Life should always opt into it. Because if in the middle of the fight they get the Ocean Soul, it's just going to carry them.
Yeah, it's just over from that point. You're exactly right. As Vista does need to be careful, but finally has his flash back available. His exhaust also there in case anyone jumps on top of him. As Lava is clearing out vision where he can. Life Not going to be able to find him there, as Distortion is pretty good at getting you out of sticky situations. Siege Minion is going to go missing, so that wasn't great. But otherwise, just shoving out of this mid lane, and Gen.G going to have to play the vision game once again, as Haru's going to clear out this control ward.
Well, 45 seconds. This is the ideal timing.
Oh, Lehens. He's going to get stunned up.
That
Cosmic
was
Radiance once again going to come down. I like that. Put that ability on cooldown. Tempered Fate not as valuable as Cosmic Radiance in a team fight. More of a pick tool here for Gen.G. So they're happy with that. Now they're going to have to win this team fight that is coming up. Barrel's going to land onto Clid, but not going to do too much damage. Control wards just being cleared out left, right, and center. Juve will be able to get rid of that one right there as Gen.G reform around this mid lane. BDD has Chains of Corruption, which can be good as an engage tool, but doesn't want to be taking too many of these free barrels. As Clid over to the side will look to take down the Rift Scuttler, get themselves some permanent vision that cannot be removed by the enemy team. Ruler is going to take that gold, as now the Ocean Drake has spawned, and Lava over in flanking
they're
position.
Starting it, which is a very peculiar decision, because if this is a 50-50, oh man.
Yeah, well, Lava dives into the backline. Ruler's going to get ignited, down to about half health. Needs to eat as many of these little leaves that life can put down as possible.
Opting into a death sentence.
Well, Cannon Barrage is going to come in, and now it's Hanwha Life that have control of this Drake. Clid gets himself on top of it. No! It's going to be taken by the Gangplank of all people, and now Ocean Soul is on Hanwha Life. Can they fight this one out is going to be the question. Of course, the answer is yes, apart from Vista, who's honestly been abused this entire game. Gangplank's going to be able to grab another one. I think that was a triple kill, actually, as there's Lava picking up one. Life is running for the hills. A double kill comes in for the LeBlanc. And Hanwha Life, they've all but won this game.
No, they have won the game. There's no way Gen.G, with their brawlery skirmish team composition, is ever in a million years going to be able to bring this game back. There's Ocean Soul is the most imbalanced abomination since I think release of Philios.
What about Black Cleaver?
At least in recent
remember
times.
Like that the original changed Black Cleaver? Do you remember that?
Well, I wasn't playing at that time, I don't think.
Oh man, that was the most disgusting thing ever. You know, the correct build for like every single AD champion in the game was just build as many Black Cleavers as you could.
Okay, that sounds really good.
It was pretty good.
Let's take a look at this replay. I have no idea what Gen.G are doing, because they're voluntarily opting into a 50-50, and this isn't what was necessary, especially not after the Cosmic Radiance happened in mid lane. No matter what, any sort of a scrappier fight is going to be better than this, because Juve was the one that ended up getting the Ocean Soul. And it just changes the surface of the entire game. I mean, Ocean Soul is about as good as the new Fiddlesticks is bad. So, when you really just try to put it into perspective, it's truly something else.
Oh, we're going to have a look at the Gangplank and what he was able to get done here. Puts down the Cannon Barrage. That's going to zone out Gen.G majoritively, and got so much value.
Sounded like a Gatling gun. It sounds like they know that they've won.
Yeah. Baron Kaja.
Okay, I really want to highlight Haru's item here. Locket.
Oh, beautiful.
Bit of a savant.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to give him credit there?
Would have been good if they had the on, but that's okay. Regardless,
totally
still good. As Baron is still available, so Hanwha haven't actually taken it just yet.
They don't. I mean, it's not a rush. There's no universe now where they should ever be able to lose this game. I would weight it something like 99 to 1. If you wanted odds.
What? Rascal just used his ult in the wrong direction.
I'll stop acting surprised. 3 minutes until Elder is coming up. We have Crit Plank being the build order here. Mid-tier 1 turret is going to get raised. Do not look at the gold score at the top. Simply look at the very big green symbol that is below the gold score.
Yep.
So that will tell you everything that you possibly need to know. Goal difference over time. Time stopped existing the moment that Ocean Drake was captured by Hanwha Life, as everyone is not really going to be able to do anything. I mean, MF... So if Gen.G are still going to try to fight and make something happen, they need executioners.
Thank you, Ocean Soul, for keeping Vistra alive long enough to get into the Cosmic Radiance.
Yeah, he'll be full HD. I mean, he doesn't even need a recall. I don't know who he's kidding.
Yeah, no need for that. That'd be silly.
He's already half HP.
They only have 2 regular Ocean Drakes, so I guess the regen isn't super high. But he just needs to hit things 2 times or something like that, and he'll have all of his health back. He did decide to go back home, has himself a stopwatch. He can check the time. He'll know that it's time to win. As Ruler going to push this one out yet again. B2D once again trying to go for something. As at least there is some poke damage, and Gen.G are able to raise the outer turret in the mid lane. And I'm going to stop looking at the gold. I tend to do that, LS. I apologize. I just look at the gold as a thing of habit. But I guess I don't need to, as Haru. He's going to try the ultimate thing as well. Clid getting taken down very low. It's a great Arctic Assault, actually, as Clid's still alive somehow. Haru takes him down in the end. As now B2D looking to try and crash in on this one. Rascal gets out the ram, looking for lava, but he can't actually shoot the ram back. As B2D, he might be able to make it out. Oh, the Abscond comes in. Ocean Drake is just one hell of a thing, guys. It's just pretty good. Oh, God. What?
Well, I do believe that. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I do believe that that looks like a bit of a problem for Gen.G.
Yeah.
Baron's gonna get captured here.
Stun up Lava, who does get taken down. Ruler, he also respects the Ocean Drake. He altered the air just to make sure that if, in case, Lava is going to survive, he's not going to survive for too much longer, but able to get 1 pick. That denies one of the Barons. That is good, by all means.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Is the question.
So, Hanwha Life, they go for the engage here. They know that it's essentially 10v5, and they opt into this team fight knowing that they have the numbers advantage. The Ram doesn't even want to take part in it. The Ram's like... You ever see Scary Movie 2? When the Exorcist guy walks into the room?
Yeah.
And then he walks right out. I can't say what he said during that line. But that was what the Ram just said.
Yeah. And he's like, nah.
Oh, man.
Well, Lahens is going to get picked off. This time doesn't use his ultimate. Another ult is going to go wide. I believe that was B2D's Glacial Prison. As Cosmic Radiance then utilized, probably not necessary because Ocean Soul is just a permanent Cosmic Radiance. I'm pretty sure. I think that's how it was coded. As now Elder Drake being started up by Hanwha Life, and they're at full health. There was just a fight. You can see their health bars should look more like Gen.G's. Guys, if you wanna know what Ocean Soul does, that's basically how that one works. As Elder Drake still being held onto here. Rascal does have his ultimate. And the barrels are going to go wide. So, looking to pull away is now Gen.G. Might be able to pick this one up, but Lava back in position, doesn't find the chains. But every bit of poke that Hanwha Life lands is good.
Back into this game by Gen.G. If they can somehow...
Oh my God, Lava just insta-pops 2 people, but Clid is able to steal away the Elder Drake. Vista grabs himself a kill, and look, Elder Drake not so valuable when you've been aced, and maybe Hanwha Life will crack open the base right now.
Yeah, they have the Baron. The death timers are extremely high, still remaining. Now, Life does have his ultimate. He has the ult available. He is going to be up in 15 seconds. So, he's not going to be able to save the inhibitor, but he will be able to save the Nexus turrets, I believe. And then Clid's going to get up, he'll EQ forward. Probably get ignored because he's Tank Jarvan and no one cares. And then MF will come up next, run forward, auto attack, press Q, do nothing. And then I believe B2D will come off the fountain, try to latch onto a target once, and then fail as the Nexus falls.
I think the Nexus is just going to die right here as Vista's able to free hit it, and it's down. Hanwha Life have upset the top dogs in the LCK and take down Gen.G in what was a marathon of a best of 3. It was not pretty, but guys, a win is a win, and this is most likely saved Hanwha Life from relegation.
Yeah, I mean, this was a miracle turnaround by Hanwha Life here tonight. Tonight was very unexpected. Went to 6 games in total, so both best of 3s making it the distance. Hanwha Life managed to upset Gen.G on the wings of the Ocean Dragon, and that's just unfair, Atlas.
Absolutely it is. And so now Dragon X sit at plus 15 at 13-4. Gen.G sit at plus 17 at 13-4. And T1 sit at plus 14 at 13-4. So it's really coming down to the wire as far as our top 3 are concerned. But their next matches are going to be so important because if Gen.G keeps playing like that, I mean, I was touting this team as being the strongest in Korea. But after that performance, there is no way that I'm going to continue that thought. I mean, yes, they're still top 3, but the if thing Gen.G plays like that against T1, that's 0-2, right?
So the most interesting thing for me is that they really are. It's sort of like the 3 legendary Pokemon. They're like the birds or the dogs or whatnot, right?
Yeah, okay.
In the sense that Dragon X is always aggressive. Dragon X is always just trying to go in there and do things. They play very mono-red team compositions. They always try to get ahead, and they fight very scrappy. Gen.G generally is the more reserved, scaling, defensive type of team composition. And then T1 is sort of a mix of both of them. And so there's a lot of difference between the top 3 teams, but all of them are looking really shaky at various points. It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how well they can play on some days. It matters that games and series like this one can end up occurring. And for a region right now where 4th through 10th is middle of the pack, this is really bothersome. We talked about a lot of this on the Pog State, which is going to be the next episode that comes out, airs on YouTube. This is a very problematic split for the LCK. This is a really unsettling split all around, no matter how you want to try to write it.
Yeah, it's really hard to sum it up any other way than that, to be perfectly honest. And Gen.G actually have the roughest of the matches when it comes to our top teams, right? They're up against KT, which is going to be the first match on Wednesday in our triple best of 3 day, our final one for the season. And then T1 is against Afrika, theoretically an easier one. Sandbox are going to be playing for their lives against Damwon Gaming. And then Griffin versus Hanwha Life will round things out. This is if Sandbox loses, I don't know what this means. I think Griffin are actually confirmed in relegation now. I'm trying to. I don't think that they can get ahead of 2 people right now. No, I don't think so. It's impossible for them to win 2. So Griffin are confirmed in relegation as of this point.
Well, we take a look at the highlights inside of this game, and I mean, what a series of events. So, interestingly enough, this Cloud Dragon came back to bite Gen.G, and I'm fully aware that it's result-based analysis, but it is an interesting thing.
Any of the dragons came back to bite them, right?
Right here, Rascal never casting his ult, blocking up Lahens and Vista at that point, because the ultimate wasn't needed to deal damage, it was needed to keep them where they were at that point. And this was just Gen.G being very uncharacteristic to how they've been the majority of the season, even in game number 1. And then right here they opted into a coin flip Ocean Drake fight where Cuve beat both the junglers at getting the dragon. And from there, it was all that. I mean, this was the game. That was... Yeah. There was no coming back from that point.
Ocean Soul, pretty damn good, just in general. And look, I'm glad you brought up the Pog State because I believe in this particular episode, I was actually talking up Rascal And when we had a top lane discussion, I was saying that, you know, I think that he's been a little bit underrated. Well, after this game, I don't even know where the tier list of top laners is in the LCK, because we've had all of them having up and down performances, you know? Keen always trying to carry, but never being able to actually find results. Noguri being Noguri the majority of the time. You know, Summit taking most of the season off. Like, it's a really weird time for top laners here in the LCK.
Well, LCK is definitely having a lot of ups and downs. Lots of roller coaster rides happening in this split. And honestly, we're in the last couple of matches for the regular split, and upsets are happening. And this was obviously the final Doom push that ended up coming in. It went about as we said it would. Temper Fate onto the Nexus turrets. Jarvan would come up. Silas would spawn just in time to try to jump onto someone, but not be able to. Actually got stopped there by the game ending.
We're going to have a look at Lava's perspective here in this Elder Drake fight. As he was able to just completely eliminate the bottom lane from this before they could do anything.
투기시켜. 얘네 쳐야 돼. 나 공 50초. 투기시켜. 얘네 다 달린다. 야, 이거 이러면 잠깐만. 여기 다 있다. 예, 쇼 본다 이러면. 나 스마 800이야 딜. 나 더 써놔야 돼. 잡았어. 다 잡았어. 싸워 그냥 죽여버려. 죽여. 먼저 미드.
I like his immediate pan towards the Nexus. I want to know whose Naisu that was.
이거 라인 박아. 야, 원거리 계속 살린다. 내가 태할게. 아, 끝났다. 맞아. 야, 뭐 궁금하면 기재에다 꽂을 테니까. 야, 이거 상계해라. 바드모. 얘들아, 흩어져. 바드모 있다. 흩어져. 나 궁은 있어. 흩어져. 얘 미니언 궁 쓸 수도 있다. 아, 르블랑이랑 바루스랑 뭉쳐.
Oh my god, of course it was Lehens. Okay, never mind.
천천히. 궁 써. 다시 싸워도 돼. 끝내. 야, 르블랑이랑 바루스랑 붙어있어. 끝내. 얘들아, 천천히 끝내. 끝내. 붙어. 르블랑 바루스부터. 야, 끝내.
Well, that is a very, very happy Hanwha life. And well-deserved as well. In the end, certainly outplayed Gen.G, but this is disappointing for the top of the standings, absolutely. I mean, even the DRX series was not the level of performance that we wanted out of DRX, but they were at least able to turn around the series in the end and able to take the win over the Afrika Freaks, who theoretically should have been more of an opposition than Hanwha Life were to Gen.G. And this was just a huge upset. Incredibly, incredibly important for Hanwha Life. But Gen.G now possibly moving down towards a lower berth into the finals. And there is a chance that we're going to see DRX in first place, T1 in first place. Any one of these three teams could get there if there is any other faltering from any of our other players. As here is Lehens picking up player of the game. I gave my vote over to Lava, but a very binary KDA and some pretty fantastic cosmic radiances to make sure that they were never really taken down. But I mean, this moment, I don't know whether it was necessarily Lehens doing a win or Rascal not pressing R early enough.
Well, nonetheless, he did have a lot of good engages, lots of saves with the cosmic radiances, and also just his heals coming out as well. And
I feel like it's also claiming the player of the game that we wanted to give him in the last game. So I'm definitely okay with that. I think he had a very good series. Did Lehens? Plus, he was so incredibly excited about the win. It was adorable.
Yeah. We'll be hearing from him in the MVP interview in just a second. 7 out of...
It was just us. We were the only Lava Boys. That's perplexing, to say the least. And on that note, we are going to throw it over to Cuve and Lehens for an interview, and we're going to have Ji-sun standing by with some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Season with the translation, and we'll be hearing from Cuve, Lehens, the King Slayers from HLE Esports. How do you feel, guys?
오늘 뭐
Well,
이겨서 일단 굉장히 기분
I'm happy that
좋고요.
we won today.
상대가 좀 강한
And
팀이었다
today,
보니까
our
저희도 나름
opponent
뭐
was a strong team,
많이
so
긴장했을
we
텐데
were really
그래서
nervous.
이겨서 정말 좋다고
So it
생각합니다.
feels really nice to take them down.
저도 이제 네,
Yeah, me too.
승강전 이제 갈 수도 있는
Well,
위험한
we
경기였는데
are in a very
팀원들과
dangerous spot
다들
where
너무
we can
잘해줘서
fall down to the
네, 또 좋은
relegations.
경기를 한 것
But all of
같습니다.
my teammates were doing a great work, so we were able to get this win.
강한 편이어서 야, 근데도 뭐 킹슬레이어 모드가
But
제대로
on
발동을
Alive
했거든요.
Esports, once again, you guys were the King Slayers.
본인들도 약간 좀 의아하지 않습니까? T1 잡고
Aren't you guys also surprised you guys took down T1, DRX, and then Gen.G was the last team on the list, and you guys did manage to pull them down.
저희가 이제 강팀 만나면
Whenever we go
강해지고
against strong
약자만
teams,
약해지는
we
것 같아요.
become really
네,
strong,
아쉽습니다.
but whenever we go against a weaker team, we also become weak, so I'm a little bit sad about this.
다 강해야 되는데. 아니 근데 강팀 만나면 강해지고 다 하고 싶거든 솔직히.
Yeah, but
만나면 약해지는 거 다 하기 싫고. 근데
everyone
강팀
wants to
만나면
be
강해지는
strong
거
against a
비전이
strong
있습니까?
team,
뭐
so
팀에
what
무슨
is the
DNA가 있나
key
보고
or
어떻게 된 거야,
tips
그게?
for being so strong against the top
제
teams?
생각에 든든한 탑라이너 큐베가
Well, I
있어서
think
가능한
we have a
일이지
very
않나.
reliable top laner, Cube, in our team.
큐에서 이거 큐베 얘기도
Cube, what about you? What's your thought on this?
킹슬레이어 모드 이유가 뭡니까?
사실 뭐 맞을 수도 있긴 한데
Well, maybe that can be
제가
true.
솔직히 냉정하게
But
생각했을
to be
때는
honest
저희가
and to
너무
be really
아래쪽 팀이랑 할 때는
realistic,
너무 마음의 여유가
whenever we
없이
go
해서
against the
제 실력이
lower
안 나와서
teams,
그러지 않았나
we are not
생각했거든요.
having heads up and we don't just keep our guards up. So maybe that's why we always falter up against the weaker teams.
케일에 대한 얘기를 좀
So
해보자면
Cube, I want to ask you about your Kale.
이제 더 샤이를 보는 것 같았다.
And Dongjun actually
패기가 느껴지는
said
장면도
your
나오고
Kale reminded him of that of
그런
the
엄청난
Shy.
장면도 나왔는데 좀 캐리할 자신 있으셨나요?
Were you
전황을
confident
쭉
that you
이제
were
게임
gonna carry
하시면서?
the late game?
캐리할 자신보다는
Well,
사실
not about the
자신보다는
confidence.
무조건 제가
It's rather like I must had to do it, you know? I had to do that.
최근에 이제 공속 캐넨을 다시 한번 활용하셨는데
And
결과 좀 안 좋기도
Recently, you
했고.
also tried the attack speed cannon, but that did not go well.
좀 제한적으로 변하는
So
게
some
아니냐라는
people are
얘기도 좀
saying that
있었어요.
Cube,
근데
you
오늘
are having a very narrow champion pool, but today you kind of turned this all around, going with Kale and even GP. So are you putting extra effort to kind of change your play style?
저희가 지금 발전할 수가
I
없는
mean,
상황이라서 일단은 눈앞에 있는 상황에서 이겨야 된다.
We are just focusing just the game right in front of us.
전에 제가 뭐 나르나
Well,
나르나 캐넨 했을 때 져가지고
when we were playing Nara, Kennen in the top lane,
잘
game did
이겼는데
not go well, so we were just trying different teams.
좋은 모습 많이
different
보였습니다.
thing this
지난주
time.
APK 경기도 그렇고 오늘도 비슷한 장면이 좀 나왔던 것 같은데 발언 먹으려고 하다 지난 경기 때는 뭐
So
전부,
yeah, last time
전수한다든지
you guys had a very
두
big
번째,
fail moment in the Baron Pete.
두 번째 경기였네요.
And in
그
game number
억제기 좀
2 maybe,
계속
when you guys were
미드부터 밀다가 억제기 근처까지
pushing
가다
to the
끊임없이 싸우다
inhibitor.
에이스하는 장면도 있었거든요.
케일했던 판.
예. 그때 그
in your
판단,
Kale game,
뭡니까 이게?
you guys were making a very bold decision.
아니면 예. 예,
So
정치적으로
was that like a mistake? Were you guys in a rush?
제가 다 잘못 오더해서
It's all on me. It's my bad call. Yeah, it is my responsibility.
계속 억제기 밀다 계속 그냥 가자고 한 게 리엔지였어요?
Was that you telling the
네,
players to keep pushing?
네, 맞습니다.
Yeah,
네.
yeah, that was me.
이제 본인이 안고 가요 그냥
네,
안고 가.
그런 느낌인 것 같은데 네. 더 이상 여쭤보지 않겠습니다.
Okay.
자 그리고 오늘 특히 세 경기 모두 드래곤
So-
기가 막히게 챙긴 것 같습니다. 예.
Well, today in all 3 games, you guys were really good at taking all the neutral objectives, especially dragons.
오브젝트로 잘 챙겼어요 오늘 이 경기는요.
How were you guys able to do that?
용쪽 오브젝트는 아무래도
Well, the
미드
dragon
바텀
objective
조정을
was
주의해서 저희 미드 바텀이
Actually,
잘했기
all
때문에
about the
먹지
mid and
않았나
bot
좀
priorities.
타면서 그렇게
As a
생각합니다.
top laner, I think my mid laner and my bot duos were doing a great work.
분위기 좋아요. 분위기가.
본인들도 그럼 또 라바 얘기해야죠.
Then we want to ask you about lava.
전체적으로 라바의 등장.
Lava
어떻게 등장한
subbed in.
겁니까?
두둥 등장.
두둥 등장이죠.
That 두두둥가 of lava.
라바 교체. 어떻게 사전에
What was the plan in subbing in
네,
lava?
원래 사전에 라바 선수도 이제 출전하기로 이제
Yeah, I mean,
돼
it was
있었는데
planned in advance
또 경기를 오랜만에 나왔는데도
But
굉장히
it
좋은
was
모습
really
보여줘서
amazing to see
되게
him performing
고맙다고
so well, even though he was not playing on stage for a bit of a time. So I want to say thank you to Lava.
진짜 그리고 타릭 또 리엔즈.
Lihan's your Tariq
했거든요. 김동준.
was so
그
perfect.
지었다고.
You are Tariq itself.
이렇게 선호하는 선수는 없어요.
I mean, there's no other players that prefer Tariq
타릭이
this
완전히
much.
1티어다? 이렇게
Do you think
생각하시는 건가요?
Tariq is on the top of the tier
제
list?
성향은 원래 타릭을 좋아하진 않아요.
Well,
굉장히 좀
Tariq does not
수동적이고
really connect directly to my playstyle. It's a little bit too passive and he cannot jump over the wall.
근데 이제 아무래도
But
이제 요즘 한타
well,
일어나는 게
recently
오브젝트에서 많이 열리니까
there are a lot of team fights around
타릭이
objectives.
조금 좋다고 생각해서 계속
So
하는 것
I
같아요.
think that kind of connects with
이거
the current meta very well.
오늘 리엔즈 타릭 어땠어요? 기가 막히고 비쌀리면서 옆에서 옆에
So
있는데
how
바로
was
한마디
Lihan's
해줘요.
Tariq performance today, Juve?
타릭밖에 할 줄 모르는데 타릭을
I
해가지고
mean,
정말 다행이라고 생각합니다.
Lihan's is a Tariq one trick,
약간
but
심리전
it was a
들어가는
big
것 같아요.
relief that he was able to play that champion today.
그렇습니다. 네. 그래서 오늘 그 본인들이 승리를 거두면서 다른 팀에게도 많은 영향을 줬습니다. 일단
So with this victory, you guys made a huge
승강전이
upset
확정됐습니다.
all around
네.
LCK. Griffin are now falling down to the relegation. It is confirmed now.
웃음을 참지 못해.
예. 보통 이제 친정
And Lihan's, I see you're wearing a huge smile on your face.
이렇게 오르기
Griffin used to
마련인데
be your former team, right?
한 말씀 하실 거 있어요?
Would you like to add any comment about
기다려라,
this?
기다려라. 금방 갈게.
Viper, just wait for me. I'll be there soon.
이게
아니 잠깐 얘기를 잘 못하시.
네. 경기를 이제 금방 한다고. 이제.
I mean, I was talking about our
아,
Griffin
예.
versus Hana Life series.
맞싸움을 하니까 맞싸움이.
예, 그렇죠.
맞대결 하니까 깜짝 놀랐어요.
승강전 따라간다는 얘기 아니었죠?
It didn't mean that you guys were following them to relegation, no?
우리가 뭐 좋은데라고.
예, 그렇죠. 예. 그리고 빅3 젠지
And also,
드래곤에서 T1에게 전부
You guys
연결해서
all
세
took
팀이
down
모두 13승
T1,
4패가
DRX,
됐습니다.
Gen.G, the big
그
three
팀에서
teams, so
한다고
they're on a
사실
tie
그
right
팀의
now.
승리에 결정적 영향을
하나
미친
생명이
건
You guys are
컨트롤을
being
하나
so
생명이 다
decisive
컨트롤했어요. 예.
in terms of
그리고 드래곤 엑서
seeing the
T1
final result of the regular split.
있으면 아니 하위 팀이 1위 팀 잡아줘서 공동 1위가 됐어요. 본인이 드래곤 엑서 본인이 팀원 입장이었으면 이거
So,
진짜 고마운 상황이죠.
It's
이거.
a really like awesome situation for DRX or T1 right now for taking down the number one team.
야 이거 뭐라도 좀 받아야 되는 그런 거 아닌가 생각했는데 들 텐데 예. 자 그러면
Shouldn't
이제
those
정말
teams be
중요한
thankful
경기들
for you?
예 남겨둬. 근데 아직
So,
그 승강전에서 벗어난 거 아니거든요.
you guys are not completely
마지막
out of the
경기
relegation
남겨두고
zone.
자 어떻게
So how are you going to prepare for the final match of the regular split?
네, 다음 경기도 굉장히 중요한 경기인데.
Yeah, our next match is really
마지막
important as
경기인
well.
만큼 좋은
And
경기력으로
this is our last match,
보여드리도록
so
하겠습니다.
we will do our best to show a good performance.
저는 저희가 마지막 상대가 그리핀이라서
Our
시우를 위해서라도
final
꼭
opponent
이기도록
is
하겠습니다.
Griffin, and for Lihan's, I will make sure to get a win in that series.
네, 이런 게 스토리죠.
그렇습니다.
네.
자,
There's a
그러면은
very
다시
exciting
한번
storyline
POG
going on in
사장 두
LCK
분
between
마지막
Griffin
경기도
and
뜻한
Hana
바로
Life
이루시기 바랍니다.
Esports.
다시 한번
And this will be the end of the
축하드립니다.
interview with Cube and Lihan's from Hana Life Esports. And I'm going to
수고하셨고요.
pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, G-Sun, for the interview translation once again. Lahen's going to be waiting for Viper in relegations is apparently what they were talking about, but not actually what he meant. He's waiting for the final match between Griffin and Hanwha Life. But right now, it's looking like Hanwha Life is sitting pretty in that 8th place, and Sandbox are going to be sweating. They have to take down Damwon in order to equalize with Hanwha Life, and they need to do it 2-0, and then they need Hanwha Life to lose.
Yeah, this is a interesting series of events going on here. As
Well, actually, they can win it in any way.
yeah, there's I don't know what the final standings are actually going to be like now, because now DRX, they have a real legitimate opportunity to clinch first, and it got a whole lot spicier now between the top three with the remaining matches.
I mean, it's likely that T1 are going to be able to win against Afrika, right? But it's also more than likely that DRX are going to 2-0 APK. So we're looking at Gen.G, who will probably still remain at the top if they can beat KT in any way, but KT are looking like the better team out of the top 4 right now.
Well, the scariest thing is that out of the remaining matches, T1 should be slated to win against Afrika. That one could be, well, it should be a 2-0, but you never know. KT could, in theory, beat Gen.G. That's the closest out of the next 3 matches that are going to take place, and that's scary because everyone's probably predicting DRX to 2-0 APK, and that would mean DRX gets first place if KT can manage to topple Gen.G.
Yeah, and this is regardless of what T1 does, right? T1's life is in the hands of DRX and Gen.G if they actually want that first place. Of course, T1, as a team, very, very good at running gauntlets. They do the whole thing if they get there. So we'll have to see how it's going to work out here, but it's very spicy here in the LCK, and what we want to see is some more consistent performances. So next week could be the time for consistent LCK. Before that, we will have an episode of the Pog State for you. That's going to be coming out in a couple of days' time at 10 p.m. KST, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. Talking about all things LCK, having a little bit of a conversation about what we're doing with Corvid, but for now, good night.
Told me to be myself and never feel alone. All that I want, all that I need, but whatever in the dark I see, always believe in the faith in me. You'll always be